It is not the first, nor will it be the last time the internet hyperfixates on a puppet. Hey, it's Ali. Welcome back to my channel, you freak, geeks, and weirdos. You know who you are. In fact, you know who you are because you clicked on this video. Welcome home, am I right? And if you're anything like me, the freak, the geek, and the weirdo, then you probably are obsessed with the newest ARG that has taken the internet, or a specific part of the internet, by storm. Welcome home. Now, if you are not chronically, terminally online like the rest of us, let me introduce you to the Welcome Home ARG. It is an ARG, or an augmented reality game, which if you don't know what that is, you missing out. You missing out. ARGs are basically like media games. You solve little puzzles, little games, little ciphers, here, this, that, the third, to unlock more of usually a story as it unfolds and as the creator puts stuff out. This can be across a website, a Twitter account, Facebook page. It can go all over the place, and all over the internet. There's usually multiple people in on it, which is why this one is like such like a gem, because it's like one person like mainly working on it. I think Clown, who is the creator, he has gotten some help on some things, but mostly it's just been him alone doing this. And when I go into the level of detail, like, keep in mind that this is mostly just one person working on this, like at the head of it all. It's insane. Speaking of which, this ARG got so popular so quickly, and we're only 5% in. Clown said that we are only 5% through. And like, it is already as big as it is. Imagine as updates start to come out and the puzzles start to get more and more, how crazy this ARG and like the fandom itself is going to get. And that's kind of what I want to talk about here today. So if at any time you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe, because I make videos like this all the time. And let me know down in the comments below, have you heard about this ARG Welcome Home before this video? If I'm your introduction into Welcome Home, I'm so happy. Cause like, I'm usually late to the game on something. I wasn't late to the game on this. I just didn't know what I wanted to talk about, because I didn't want to do a boring old like, oh, here are all the secrets, mostly because I'm kind of bad at ARGs and puzzles. I'm getting there. But I didn't want to just talk about like, oh, here are all the secrets, here are all the theories, because once again, we're only 5% through, and I feel like there's not much to talk about there yet, even though there is, and I will talk about that at the end. But there's not really that much of a story there yet, and I don't want to make speculation when we're still in the prologue, you know? So I really just wanted to talk about the fandom stuff today. So if you have any theories of your own or anything like that, feel free to leave it down below. Let me know who your favorite character is. Let me know. We're going to talk about that in a second. Let me know who your favorite character is, and let's jump into it. So one of you clocked me way back. I forgot what video it was under, but one of you were like, oh, have you heard of like Welcome Home? Like back when it was like first getting popular. I was like, yeah, of course I know about Welcome Home. But the rest of the comment was like, oh, I feel like you would like Eddie, the character Eddie. He seems like your type of character. And I read that and I was like, you're correct. But like, am I that easy to read? Am I that easy to clock? The answer is yes. The answer is painfully yes. Please take a look at Eddie, read his description, come back to this channel. The answer is yes. So over the last month, this particular fandom shot up in popularity so quickly. And I really kind of want to dissect why. But like, if you've been on Tumblr for as long as I have, you kind of already know why. Like, this is just such a good recipe for a huge fandom. And you may be like, well, isn't it just like mascot horror? Isn't it just like a new horror ARG kids media turned bad type thing? Which, like, yes, but there's something about this that is like, has a very unique aspect to it, because yes, it's like, oh, children's show, actually it's evil, like all the creepypastas from our past. And so you may be wondering, is it that dark kids turned horror theme? Is it the mascot horror? Is it the fact that it's an ARG and people just really love ARGs? No. I mean, yes, it's all of those things, but it's mainly the puppets. It's the puppets. I'm not sure if you know this, but there are a lot, and I do mean a lot, of people on the internet obsessed with puppets. And I'm not just talking about like Sesame Street and the Muppets, though those are obviously the really big ones, especially the Muppets. I'm just talking about like puppets and puppetry in general. I personally don't know what it is. I did not grow up with puppets. Like, technically I grew up with Sesame Streets and the Muppets, but I did not watch it as much as like other people did to have that be such a like really big place in their heart. For me, it just did not happen. But I know from just being on Tumblr for a very, very long time in different fandoms and this, that, the third, there is always somebody out there drawing fan art of whatever fan art fandom they're in as Muppets, as puppets. And it gets like, it does numbers. The posts always do numbers. And so if you know why people love puppets so much, let me know down below. But when I found out that this ARG is like going to be like a puppet show, kid show, horror theme, I was like, oh yeah, this is going to do numbers. Mascot horror, I know people have been talking about, oh, we're so tired of mascot horror, this, that, the third. Personally, for me, I feel like mascot horror is just a genre at this point. And I think people think that it's a really easy genre to pull off because it's so marketed towards kids, specifically for like shovelware indie games. I understand that, and it does happen. However, for me, I think that there is still a good way to do that. And I feel like Welcome Home, even though we're only 5% of the way through, has already done that. And the way to do that is the level of quality. If we're going to talk about like FNAF, actually, we're not going to talk about FNAF. I love FNAF, but that's a very poor comparison considering one's a video game and there's not puppets. I mean, animatronics, but they're not like puppets. A better comparison would be Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, which actually people have been making a lot of comparisons to Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. That is a puppet show, kids show turned horror, and that is something that is done really, really well, and something that is still so distinct from Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared that we're not like, oh, here's another one. Like, everybody who likes Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, you're probably gonna like Welcome Home, especially since it's like an internet puppetry kind of campy thing, especially with the characters and the way that they look and their personalities thus far. And that is why it is my belief that the puppetry and the horror themes and the kid show turned horror puppet, like, you just mashed all those together and you've awakened like a very deep slumber of the side of the internet. Because ever since Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, where did the puppet girlies go? Like, where have they been? I just seen them coming out of the woodworks. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I followed a couple of people from like way back in the days of Tumblr fan art and stuff, and they would draw like fan art for like regular fandoms and stuff. But then as those fandoms started to die down, they started drawing just like Muppet fan art and just puppet fan art and stuff like that, and their own little OCs and stuff like that. And it was really interesting. I just continued to follow these people. That's how I know that like there's a lot of people into puppets, because I just continued to follow these people even after they were done with the fandoms that I had originally followed them for, and now they're into Welcome Home, or they were into Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, and now they're into Welcome Home. So that where did y'all come from? Out of the trenches, like out of nowhere. Anyway, speaking of OCs, I am going to show some fan art, obviously with credit, of course. I'm not a heathen, okay? And as I show this fan art, I want to talk about the point of like, this is also another reason why Welcome Home has blown up so fast. Characters. Good character writing. We are only 5% through. All we have is the bios and little pieces of art. Well done art, which is the other thing, is that this is so well put together. Every little piece of this already is so well put together. The fact that it's being done by an illustrator and by someone who has a love of puppets as well, it just seems like there's so much time and care put into this. I'm on Clown's Ko-fi, which you should absolutely join because it's only $3 a month. Support the creator. I like have seen the like effort that he has gone through to like find really vintage stuff and like putting yourself into the mindset of like this era, because it's like the late 60s, early 70s era, and actually putting yourself into this mindset and actually trying to like be like, okay, here's everything that would be going on during this era. Here's how things would look and clothes and this, that, the third. And so it's very, I don't know. It's like you went the extra mile. He went the extra mile with this, and you can just tell. And obviously the illustration, they are the illustration god. He is an illustration god because the illustrations are so distinct. They have such a distinct style. It looks like an actual cartoon. I am hoping for either an animation or music, and we'll get to that when I get to the theory side. But yeah, so because of that, that has obviously inspired a lot of people, myself included, to make OCs, to make fan art, to all of this out the wazoo, because the characters are like, even though we know very little about them, are so well written like already. They're so like cute and well rounded. All of the little comics that we have seen so far, all of Wally Wally, the main character, people love him. People love Wally, maybe a little too much. We'll get to that later. But like, people love Wally. And I think it's just very fun. It's fun. It gets people going. It gets people excited for whatever is coming next. I love that people have kind of not superimposed, I guess, like they kind of given Wally this personality, which I've loved so far, because I've seen a bunch of people go different routes with Wally's personality. It's like they give him this like a mastermind manipulator type personality when they're doing horror stuff, and then they give him like himbo vibes when they're doing like funny little comics. I love it so much. Attention to detail and well-roundedness of the characters and good character design is like one of the core components to like having a good fandom. Let me tell you, you want to have a good fandom, make a character that people can like latch onto. You want to invested fandom, a fandom that's a little cuckoo in the head. Get them a character that they can get latched onto, and then give that character trauma. I think this is the second time I've talked about this in a video. Like, you gotta give your character is not going through something. Are they really a character? I'm just saying. What I love most, and we're getting a little bit into like the actual ARG itself here. What I love most about Wally's character and the interpretations of Wally's character is, so far there seems to be two versions of it, at least, that I've seen. Like I said, there's like the mastermind manipulator psychological horror aspect, and then there's like the cute himbo. And I feel like these are specifically like, first of all, there's no right answer here yet, because we have not seen like his true personality yet. We've only seen little tidbits and snippets. But what I really like is I feel like both are true in a sense, because we have basically Wally how he would be in the show with everybody else if Wally, is continued to be in the show with everybody else. And then we have Wally, whatever is going on now, which is like the snippets of what people have seen on the website of Wally talking to technically, maybe another person, other people trying to get out. We'll get to all that in a second, but that seems to be two distinct like personalities of Wally because of whatever happened. So whatever happened, probably the cancellation of the show, is this big catalyst for Wally's like personality change per se. At least that's kind of the running theory so far. It seems like the running theory. But before we get to the rest of the theories, I have to address the not so fun parts of fandom, because that's the world we live in and the internet we live in, unfortunately. So there were a little bit of some incidents, not too many, luckily, with people being weird, because when you get a fandom that is this big, this vast, people are weird. Clown announced a little bit ago now, like I want to say like a month ago now, that he was going to be taking a step back just a little bit, just to like recoup and things. And then he came back mostly to just lay down some ground rules, which I'm so happy, and I'm happy to reiterate them here. The biggest ones obviously were don't harass anybody, don't harass the creator, don't harass anybody connected to it, whatever, be patient, be kind to others. That's like the biggest one. Though the ones that really caught my eye were the NSFW one. So people were making NSFW content, and not the gory psychological horror NSFW content. No, the corn of the characters. Y'all, at some point, Rule 34 doesn't matter anymore. At some point, you're just being weird. I'm just saying. That's all I gotta say about that. Like, y'all, I don't know why you see a character and go, oh, I am sexually attracted to a puppet. Or even if you're not, the urge to make NSFW fan art or writings. And then some of y'all are towing the line. I've seen some fan art. Some of y'all are very much so towing the line. Just be careful. That's all I gotta say, because y'all trip and fall down that line. Respect the creators' wishes. Obviously, it's their characters. If they don't want NSFW fan art of their characters, don't do that. Don't do that. No. Don't do that. No. The second one was merch, which this is just more like, do you respect this creator who is one person creating all of this? Do you actually respect them as an artist? And do you respect other people as artists? Because this was just more of like, I'm sorry, I keep doing this because I kind of want you to see the home that I did. I made him really small, and I don't know why, but I like it because it looks like it's been like embedded into my face. Anyway, merch. Do you respect Clown as an illustrator, as an artist who has bills to pay and is trying to obviously use the money for like other means to get out of the situation that they're in. They've mentioned that before. Do you respect them as an artist in that way, as a person who has bills to pay, who knows the worth of their art? This is more of just a respect thing. Like, you should respect an artist's wishes if they don't want their art being sold anywhere, because that is money, especially when it's one person. This isn't like DC or Disney where like they're not gonna lose any money if you decide to sell your $12 charms on Etsy. Like, they're not gonna lose any money. But indie companies, like games for that example, like Supergiant, the people who make Hades, they're one of the people who have said that. And I remember it being a big thing when it happened, when they said, hey, we prefer if you don't really sell like a lot of merch, because that is money that you are actively taking away from an indie company, where that money is going directly to them, unlike Disney, where that money is probably going to 3, 4, 5 people down the line before it gets to the original creator, which like it has its own conversation in its own right. But mostly here, because it is literally one person, and that person is paying other people to like do stuff for them, like they've hired voice actors and stuff like that, so that money goes directly to them, and then that money goes directly to, you know, the voice actors and stuff. So if you really want to support this creator and you really respect this creator and the content that they are providing for you, the art and the game that they are literally providing for you, then you should just like respect their wishes and not make merch. Granted, all of this I feel like happened before they laid down the ground rules. When something gets this popular this fast, it's really hard to corral everybody together. But I feel like now that the ground rules are set, you know, at the end of the day, just don't be a weirdo. Just don't be weird. Can we have fun, please? So let's have fun. Let's talk about theories. I want to end this on a high note. We're going to talk about theories real quick. So the running theory that I have seen so far is that Wally is alone. Whenever this is, Wally is currently alone. Whether he was left behind, a lot of people have been saying like, oh, is House a good guy, bad guy, like House being alive? Like, is he trapping Wally? Is Wally trapped in House? Did Wally trap House? Wally trap House. No, but did Wally trap House? Did House trap Wally? Like, we have like there's something going on there. But the running theory so far seems to be that like whatever has happened, whatever this catalyst that happened that, you know, canceled the show and all that, everybody left, and Wally is left behind. And there's so much there that you could go into, and the motifs of all of that, specifically the motif about the phone and the phone ringing and like wanting people to stay. Like, Wally wants people to stay there. Is it because he's alone? Is it because he's lonely? Did he make that choice himself, or is he trapped? Like, what's going on there? I really like the phone ringing motif, just the phone motif in general. I love a good motif. The phone motif specifically representing like either some dark truth that somebody is hiding from, like by refusing to pick up the phone, possession. It could also be just like straight up good old possession. The creator of the website, whoever's running the restoration website, seems to have somehow, some way been possessed, or it could be Wally somehow, some way, reaching through the television screen and being the mastermind of all of this. There's so many questions, yet again, we're only 5% of the way through. But whoever is like running this, if this is like an actual human being running this and not like Wally, they seem to have somehow gotten possessed. In fact, they mention like when somebody in the guest book mentions like, oh, I remember this like show, I hope that you can restore it, blah blah blah, they go, oh, that's great, that means that it's in you too. And there's constantly mentions of like something being inside of them that like needs to get out, which is like so many motifs there. Because I remember Clown talked about how the ARG is going to have themes of the LGBT in it. I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on that, I'm pretty sure I read that on their Tumblr. So I'm just saying. But anyway, the whole like thing of like, oh, it's in you too then, which is like, what do you mean by that? Would it like, does it only take seeing this show or holding a piece of like official memorabilia or something like that to make somebody possessed, or whatever this thing is inside of them that needs to get out? Like, what? Or are you just spreading the good word? Or is it all metaphorical? And the thing that needs to get out is just like, you know, the love of the show. Anyway, but yeah, so I really like the like phone motif of that. There's also the phone motif of like Wally, maybe he's like asking for help, and like the phone ringing is his one way ticket to the real world, or like something like that. Or maybe he's already here. Who knows? Leave again. I want to hear your guys' theories. If there's a theory that you've heard somewhere on the internet that you thought was really cool, shout it out down below. Like I'm willing to see all these theories. I'm also still trying to keep a pretty open mind, so obviously take all the theories you see with a grain of salt, because again, we're only 5% of the way through. Speaking of which, speaking of the number 5, apparently there's about to be an update next month. You didn't hear it from me. I'm not going to share anything more about it because it's on their Ko-fi, and I don't want to disrespect their Ko-fi, obviously. So if you want to know more about that, I highly suggest you go to their Ko-fi, where it's literally just $3 a month. You should support them. Last thing I did want to mention was about the whole musical element that I talked about last time. I saw some really nice stuff done by Time Woods, but before even seeing that was like a piece of fan art / fan work that was done by them. Before that though, I was thinking to myself, especially after getting that little message that we saw with Wally singing to Home about the song that Barnaby taught him, and I was thinking to myself, wouldn't it be cool if we got a theme song? Like that's one of like maybe the puzzles that can be uncovered, like it's like distorted audio and you gotta fix the audio, something like that. I don't know, it'd be cool if we got a theme song. I don't know how musically inclined Clown is. I don't know. I'm not trying to make it like I want it, but I just think it would be really cool if we got a theme song, because you know this is a puppet show and it would be really cool if we had some type of like musical element to that. So I don't know, I'm just saying it'd be really cool. We already got singing once. I think we could do it again. I'm just saying. Anyway, that's my theory. My theory is that we're eventually going to get a theme song. I would love that. I would love that so much. Or a little like animatic. That would also be very cute. Anyway, thank you for watching all the way into the end, especially with my wig. My wig. I love this wig. I actually named this wig Barnaby. It's Barnaby or Buggy, depending on the time or what I'm filming. Anyway, thank you so much for watching all the way into the end. If you did, you are a real one. This was such a weird little rant of mine. I definitely will be making more welcome home videos as updates get going. So don't worry. I will eventually probably do a theory video or talking about theories and more fandom stuff as stuff happens. So don't worry. This is not the first. Well, this is the first, but it is not the last welcome home video you will see from me. Don't forget to comment down below. Let's start a conversation. You can reach me also on all of my social media linked in the description and also at the end card. Come talk to me about welcome home. It's been my lock screen all month, and it's probably going to be my lock screen next month because the update is hopefully coming sometime next month. It might not be my lock screen next month. I don't know. We'll see. I really like this lock screen though. It's very cute. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. Peace.